Jehovah's Witnesses worship what they don't know. Every aspect of being a Jehovah's Witness has to do with investing a lot of time and energy either researching documents that you don't know who wrote, or you don't know much about the person who wrote it, or distributing documents, magazines, books, writing letters, promoting things you don't know much about the authors. Growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, I remember field service groups. These are dedicated Jehovah's Witnesses willing to go door to door and tell everybody about what they don't know. You could ask, and this is before the broadcast, before you saw governing body members on their broadcast that they have now, before that, you could ask any Jehovah's Witness, let's say at a field service group, because I want to specifically point out the people who are willing to go out and go door to door, go all over, stand next to carts, tell everybody about what they don't know. Those people in particular, you could ask them, somebody raise their hand and name off all the governing body members without pulling up a tablet, without pulling up their phone, without grabbing a magazine to go look off of. None of them, for the most part, most of them couldn't name their own governing body members and or tell you a little something about each one. They didn't know. A big question mark on everybody's head. And one thing even more, you could ask them to name one person, the president. Now, this is something I've actually seen. You could ask them to name the president. Tell everybody, put your magazines down. Don't cheat and go look on a magazine. Name the president of the watchtower. None of them could name him. They didn't know who was over the organizational structure of this group that they're willing to do anything for. They didn't even know who was over the doctrinal aspect, governing body members. They didn't know much about the people over the doctrinal aspect, that they were willing to go and preach their doctrine everywhere. I remember growing up, reading an article in the Awake, maybe something that I liked, something about birds or something like that, in the Awake magazine. And then at the end of the article, sometimes it would have from Awake correspondent such and such. I never knew who these people were. Most Jehovah's Witnesses don't. They don't know who these people are. They're reading all this information and they don't know much about where it's coming from. That's a characteristic about Jehovah's Witnesses. It's just going through life not knowing very much at all about the people behind everything that you're doing. Jehovah's Witnesses couldn't even explain how Jehovah's name got a J on it. How did Watchtower come up with this name that they say is God's name and it's got a J at the front when there was no J? Explain that. Well, without going and getting a watchtower to go and find out what someone else thinks about that question. I'm talking Jehovah's Witness, just a complete blank slate. Let me just go get a magazine and read what someone else says about the J on the word Jehovah, and we'll go from there. No, most of them can't even explain that. They can't explain exactly how they went from Charles Taze Russell, international Bible students, and every group, every Bible study group being independent. There not being any kind of organization. They can't explain how that was God's organization, that was God's plan with Charles Taze Russell. God was using Charles Taze Russell. They can't explain how Charles Taze Russell, his plan was for every congregation to be independent, for there not to be an organization, because he knew big organizations become corrupt. So Jehovah's Witnesses can't even explain how that was right, because he was part of the faithful, discreet slave. So that was the correct teaching, apparently. But then they went and did the polar, complete, total, and extreme opposite. And formed an organization, formed a group that got big enough to be corrupt. And why they think this is not corrupt when that was not Charles Taze Russell's plan to begin with. They can't explain any of that. Jehovah's Witnesses are the number one blank slate group there is. They can't explain anything without running to a website to go and see what Watchtower says about it. They all have Bibles, and these Bibles have changed over time. Yes, the Jehovah's Witness Bible, the New World Translation, it was big green Bible once, then they changed it to a whole nother color with changing different things in the Bible. Then they changed it again, and they changed it to this silver color and changed more stuff in the Bible. Jehovah's Witnesses don't know who is overseeing. They don't even know who wrote the Bible. Not the Bible, their Bible. They don't even know who all wrote it, what's their background. I'm talking, these are walking blank slates. They don't know who wrote it. They don't know who made the changes in specific, what their qualifications were. Most Jehovah's, they don't know anything other than, well, we got all these books and magazines and we just get our answers out of that. We don't know much about these people. They will announce a whole new governing body member, and the only thing they know is, well, they went out in service apparently because it says so in this magazine, and they've been around as a Jehovah's Witness for X amount of time because it says so in this magazine. They don't know nothing. They can't explain how Jehovah, right? They want to use the J. They can't explain how Jehovah actually became involved specifically with Watchtower. They can't explain that because they can't say, well, because Watchtower teaches accurate information and it just automatically Jehovah just liked them because everything they teach is accurate. They know Watchtower has taught so many things that are inaccurate that I don't even know if Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed to read their own old literature because they know it's wrong. They can't explain how, if all this was wrong, all of a sudden now in 2022, it's all correct. How? It's the same structure, governing body and president. It was all wrong back then. How exactly is it all right now in 2022? They can't explain it. They don't know. They don't know anything. This doctrine that Jehovah's Witnesses came out with, that people are not particularly going to go to heaven. There's only 144,000 people going to heaven. You don't have to worry about that. Don't worry about heaven. Everybody's going to be on earth playing with giraffes and playing with animals and eating mushrooms and running around happy, naked and happy. That is crack for a lot of people. Watchtower is distributing crack cocaine, religious mental crack cocaine. That's sold like, I'm telling you, that's sold like nothing else. Jehovah's Witnesses are complete blank slates about most things surrounding their religion. But they like two things. They like this thought that they're not going to die. That while they're alive, God is going to come from heaven on a horse with bow and arrow and whatnot and kill everybody that's not a Jehovah's Witness. And then everybody that is Jehovah's Witnesses from that point, they just keep on living forever. They don't have to ever die. And they're going to be able to just stay here. They don't have to worry about going to heaven. No rapture. No, they're just going to stay here and be comfortable and play with animals for forever. That freaking soul. People love that. They love the whole concept of, oh man, heaven is scary and I don't know what goes on there. I don't have to go. You mean I don't have to go, Watchtower? That's what you're telling me? Oh man, death is scary. We don't know what exactly happens other than people's organs and stuff stop working. You mean to tell me that's not going to happen? I'm just going to live on into this situation where God kills everybody that don't believe like me, and then I'll just live forever from that point on and just start getting younger instead of growing old. I'll just start getting younger. Yeah, that part. Oh man, they love it. You mean to tell me all the people I like that died a long time ago, after God kills everybody that don't believe like me, they're just going to be brought back to life and be back young, and we're just going to all ride horses and eat apples for forever together? Yeah, that part. Oh man, they love it. It's crack cocaine. And then you know how, a person who's addicted to crack, they don't care where they get it. Heck, some of them die because they snort this crack and they don't even know for sure what's in it, because they don't know who gave it to them and how they made it. They snort this crack and this crack's got all kinds of other stuff in it and they end up dead. Well, Jehovah's Witnesses, that crack that they teach that makes people want to believe so strongly that they don't even know nothing. They don't know nothing about nobody that's writing nothing. They get these publications. All it says on the back is from Watchtower Bible Tracking Society. They don't know nothing about none of that, nothing else other than that. And they're happy with that because of this freaking crack cocaine. That idea, that concept, people love it so much that they don't care about nothing else. They don't care that they got half everything else wrong. If Watchtower was ever to come forward and teach that, oh man, we got that whole thing wrong about you're just not going to die. We got that whole thing wrong about you're not going to die. You're just going to keep living for forever. Like as you are right now, sitting right down in this chair or driving your car, whatever you're doing right now. You're just going to, in the state you are, you're just going to keep on living for forever. And then God's just going to clean up everything around you. If they were to change that, oh yeah, then you'd have a mass exodus of Jehovah's Witnesses. If they were to start teaching, oh yeah, the end is not actually as close as what we thought. You're all probably going to die. You know what I mean? You're probably going to die. You're not going to just waltz into this, what they like to call paradise. It's just going to become a paradise. You're just going to waltz into this paradise. That's probably not going to happen that way. If they were to change that teaching, mass exodus, everybody wakes up. You're not selling crack no more. We're gone. Where's the crack? I don't see any crack. I'm leaving the crack house. That's what kingdom halls are. Kingdom halls are crack houses. I'm leaving the crack house. I don't see crack. Y'all don't got crack. If they were to change that teaching, now this is my opinion, but I'd like people to challenge me on this. If there's one teaching that if they were to change, everybody would leave, it's that. It's this whole, I don't have to die. I'm just going to be in any minute now. Any minute, I'm going to be living in a house on top of a sequoia tree. Any minute now. I'm going to build my house at the bottom of the ocean because I'm going to be perfect and I'm going to be a genius and I'm going to just know how. So I'm going to build my house at the bottom of any minute now. This is going to happen. If they change that craziness, that insanity, if they were to change that mass exodus, everybody's gone. Most churches don't teach stuff that crazy. How do I know? Born and raised Jehovah's Witnesses. Born and raised. I know because I talked to these people my whole life. I know there are people talking about that pretty much any day we're going to be in the new system and they're going to be a perfect human and they're going to be smart enough to build a house where you know how you have got water beds where you lay down and you're laying down on top of a water bed and everything's moving around. There are people saying that they're going to construct a whole house like that. It's going to be a water house where you're going to step on the carpet and it's just going to be water and everybody's going to be walking around and the floor is going to be moving, but they're perfect now, right? That's the Jehovah's Witness teaching. Any day now, they're going to go into this new system and they're going to start growing young and they're going to start growing smarter because they're going to be perfect then and they're going to be using all their brain at some point and they're just going to be building houses on top of Mount Everest and they're going to know how and make it not, you know what I mean? They're going to be doing all this crazy stuff, right? Some people are talking about, I'm going to build me a house underground, you know, and it's going to raise up above ground when I push the button and all that crazy stuff. Yes, that's Jehovah's Witnesses. That pure insanity. If they were to change that, where all these people can't be walking around on mental crack, thinking any day now this sort of thing is going to happen, where they're going to learn every language because they just want to, because they're going to grow smarter and never die. I mean, if they changed that and said that was old light, gone. You mean to tell me any day now I'm not going to talk to my dead mother or my dead cousins or uncles? You mean to tell me this is not going to happen any day now? And where the whole planet's just going to be a big paradise? You're telling me that's not exactly accurate? Oh man, they're gone. I'm telling you, in my opinion, that's the teaching that people love so much that they will dumb themselves down. Now, I mentioned this crack cocaine that people, it's already addictive, but people mix things with it and make it worse. That's what happened with the Jehovah's Witnesses. They came out with that teaching, you know, about any day now, the planet's just going to be a paradise and everybody that's not like us is going to be dead. Any day now. And we're just going to be able to do all kind of craziness. Any day now. They mix that with a pyramid scheme where Jehovah's Witnesses, like a lot of religions, they build from within, basically. Right? But the difference with the Jehovah's Witnesses is a lot of religions, you got to come out of seminary school. You got to have all these, a background and all this knowledge and all this schooling before you can do X, Y, Z. You know, before you're a priest, you done went to school and did all this stuff. That's how most religions, a lot of religions would do it, right? Except for primarily cults. Because it's this pyramid scheme where you ain't gotta have no education. You ain't gotta have gone to seminary. You didn't have to have ever gone to college. You don't have to have barely be able to read. I'm not joking about that part. You don't even have to barely be able to pronounce the word Bible. You know how many times I listen to talks where people talking about Bibus? What's a Bibus? Anybody got a Bibus? Because mine says Bible. Where's a Bibus? Turn with me in your Bibus. It's like you got people up on this platform. They're part of the pyramid scheme. That pyramid scheme mixed with the mental crack that I'm not gonna die. Most likely I'm not gonna die. I know all these other people did, and I just went to all their funerals, but this is probably not gonna happen to me. I'm just gonna keep living, and any day now, God's just gonna kill everybody that's not like me, and we're gonna just take over the earth, and we're gonna be riding freaking camels and having pet lions and just doing crazy stuff like building houses on the tops of mountains. And on top of that, you have a pyramid scheme where they promote from within, and they will promote anybody. They'll promote anybody. All you got to do is take part in the brainwashing. You got to help us brainwash these other crackheads in the crack house. That's what it is. It's a whole network of crack houses, a whole organization of crack houses. And all you got to do to move up is assist with the other crackheads. You don't need an education to assist with the crackhead. You don't need a whole list of qualifications to assist with the crackhead. You don't really even hardly have to be able to read that good to assist with the crackhead. You just need to have earned your keep, just been around for a good while and shown your obedience. You just got to be real obedient. Do whatever we tell you to help with the other crackheads. That's exactly what goes on in the Kingdom Hall. Kingdom Hall is the crack house. It's the crack hall. The crack hall. That's what it is, because what we named one drug crack. We can name that drug crack, but we can also, if we want to, name mental crack. And that's what that is. Because that teaching turns people into zombies. They don't care who wrote the articles. As a matter of fact, I think a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't want to know. They don't want to know who wrote the article. Because if they find out who wrote the article, they may be less inclined to believe it, and they don't want to be less inclined to believe it, because they want to believe this mental crack that they're just going to live forever. And some people some Jehovah's Witnesses believe they're going to live on other planets, right? Because they're going to be smart, because they're going to be in a paradise, and because they're going to be using all their brain. Well, they're going to figure out how to fly to Mars, and they're going to build a colony on Mars. You think Scientology is crazy? No, Jehovah's Witnesses are crazy. You think Mormonism is crazy about everybody going to have their own planet? No, Jehovah's Witnesses got that beat. Because with Scientology, to a certain extent, they got this doctrine, you know what I mean, about Xenu and all this other stuff, right? It's at least contained within their doctrine. With Mormons, for the most part, most of their teachings are contained within their doctrine. Jehovah's Witnesses, their beliefs aren't even all contained in the doctrine. Like this belief about going on other planets. If a Jehovah's Witness says, I'm going to build a colony on Venus, there ain't no other Jehovah's Witness that can tell him you're wrong, and you're wrong according to this doctrine. No, they believe they're going to just live forever and be perfect. And by perfect, what I mean is this is going to be these superhumans, and they're going to use all their brains, and they do whatever the heck they want. So pretty much as a Jehovah's Witness, it's an open-ended doctrine. Open-ended doctrine. You just build on it. Whatever the heck you want to do. You're going to build a magic school bus that's just going to fly around with kids in it, happy and clapping. It doesn't. I'm telling you. Yeah, if I were to say that, they can't say I was wrong. And I grew up having these conversations with people. I grew up going in car groups, just listening to adults say random, insane things. But that is the Jehovah's Witness doctrine. Just like the Mormons, you eventually become God and you have your own planet and you can do pretty much whatever you want. And it's probably open-ended at that point. With Jehovah's Witnesses, you God kills everybody that's not a Jehovah's Witness, and he brings all your friends and family back to life so that you can be happy with them and dance around and eat plums all day. But eventually you become a perfect person, being able to use your whole brain. And then after that, it's open-ended. Do whatever you want. Build a Star Trek starship and fly the galaxy. You do whatever you want at that point. It's freaking darn near science fiction, some of the stuff Jehovah's Witnesses believe. I'm telling you, Scientologists think that they have some crazy teachings and beliefs. Ooh, have you heard all of what Jehovah's Witnesses think that they gonna do in what they call the new system, when they can use their whole brain and become super people and do everything they want to do? That's crazy. Now, when they start teaching that, oh my God, man, people grab onto that belief and they don't need to know why there's a J at the beginning of the word Jehovah and they're running around telling everybody that that's God's name and there was no J. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know who these governing body people are. They don't need to know who the president is. They don't need to know why they keep getting teachings wrong. As long as you don't change that, don't change the formula of the crack in the crack hall, not the Kingdom Hall, the crack hall. Don't change the formula of the crack in the crack hall. As long as you don't change that, they can flip-flop on different teachings. The generation of 1914 that won't pass away, okay, that's fine. We can throw that out and put overlapping generations. As long as you don't change this crack right here that I got my brain on, that any day now I'm just going to be able to freaking do anything. Freaking just be awesome. Freaking amazing. Freaking gnarly. Any day now I'm going to be gnarly. As long as you don't change that, they'll stay. Jehovah's Witnesses will stay put. You can mess up on the entire prediction of the end of the world. That's what happened. You can mess up on the entire prediction of the end of the world. That's okay. Mess up anything you want, but don't change this crack cocaine in the crack hall. We definitely love the crack that you guys teach. So just keep teaching that. We don't care nothing else that goes on. We don't care if Toni Morris was busted with all that liquor. We don't care if Stephen Lett thinks babies are the enemies of God. We don't even care what they say. All we care about is this crack cocaine about I'm just going to be in a paradise and never die, and all my friends are going to be resurrected and we're going to be partying together and we're going to be drinking beer because beer probably is going to be okay too. And then we're going to have perfect brains and we're just going to be doing crazy stuff, you know. We're going to make shoes that make people fly. Well, we won't need cars. We're going to have car shoes and they're going to have flight and we're just going to take off flying. That's Jehovah's Witnesses. That's crazier than the Mormons thinking that they're going to be God and just create a planet. Creating a planet as a God does not sound crazy to me. But making shoes that are going to make people fly and fly all over the place, and then having houses on top of sequoia trees and making houses that go underwater and submerge, submarine houses and all this crazy stuff Jehovah's Witnesses talked about as I was growing up, and going to other planets and building colonies on other planets. That stuff is bonkers. Pure crack for crackheads. So once they mix the crack with the pyramid scheme where, anybody can be a ministerial servant, and then from there, any ministerial servant can be an elder, and then from there, any of these people can be circuit overseers. You know what I mean? And then from there, like the pyramid scheme, businesses use that. Legitimate businesses, sales mostly, use that to keep people interested. Because it's addictive for people to wake up every day thinking, I could be a ministerial servant this time. I don't even know how to read. You know what I mean? I can't even tell you north from south, from west to east. I don't know anything, but I could be a ministerial servant this time. This time around, I'm going to be one. I didn't hardly even pass high school, but I'm going to be an elder this time around. Next time the circuit overseer comes, I'm going to be an elder. That, for guys, is freaking crack cocaine too. So it's double mixed. I'm telling you, if those two things were to change, where that paradise earth teaching, where it's the paradise earth teaching on crack, where people can just do whatever because they've got perfect brains and they're using the whole brain. If that crazy stuff gets changed, the whole I'm never going to die and millions now living will never die. If that type of stuff got changed, mass exodus, everybody leaving. They don't want to shun their relatives no more because they don't have a teaching that they love more than their relatives anymore, right? And then if this whole pyramid scheme where any Tom, Dick, and Harry can get appointed as something, that's the whole cult. That's the whole cult. I'm telling you, people will make a video and say, Jehovah's Witnesses this, governing body this. None of that stuff matters. It don't even matter to Jehovah's Witnesses. The only thing that matters is one core primary teaching, and that's any day now it's going to be a paradise. Any day now, God's going to kill everybody that's not like me. Any day now. Any day now. I ain't got to go to heaven. I just stay right here put and I'm just going to live on forever. Any day now. If they change that, that's the end of the cult. And I guarantee you they will never change that because they know that. They know they got one core bell cow teaching that carries the whole freaking cult. And that's that one. That's my opinion. You comment down below what you think that teaching is, or group of teachings that carries the whole cult. The cult don't care about nothing but these teachings. You guys comment down below. Let me know what you think those are. But that's what I think it is. The whole live forever in paradise and everybody happy. That teaching. They don't care about nothing else being wrong. It's that part. And then when you mix with that insanity, a pyramid scheme where freaking Bubba Gump Shrimp can be a freaking elder, anybody, person come right out of prison and be a servant and then become an elder. I'm telling you, anybody, once you mix that too with that, and now you got the cult. Now you got Jehovah's Witness cult. That's the how-to for anybody wanting to make their own cult and compete with Watchtower. Just take them two teachings. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. We'll discuss it. X-Wall Kill Bethelite signing out.